What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to another Black Desert video. So today is a special video more for the people who are looking to go for the special treasure items in the game. And so there are 6 treasure items in the game. 3 of them are usually on cooldown and you're using them on the daily, and 3 of them are just permanent effects that will help you more actively. So what we're going to be talking about today is the 4 you can get from the landscapes. And I made a video recently about what each spot does, like which treasure items you can get from each of them. But mostly that was just general tips on all 4 of them and how much silver you can make. But today, I actually finished the Archaeologist map, which surprisingly I finished this one last. And that's supposed to be the easy one compared to the Merchant Ring. But with that said, what I wanted to do was share some clips and stuff and talk about some more technical details, going over some of the more notable grind spots and what I chose and where I grinded and why. So for all of you going for various treasure items, whether it's one of these 4, we'll talk about the other 2 another time when I actually get them, that being the Knoll and the Horse Lantern. I don't think I'll ever be able to get the Knoll unless I just save up crow coins forever. But these are the 4 functional ones that people are probably going to use, and it's very convenient on your day-to-day for most people. So I'll leave a link in the description to the video, basically talking about the older video, which is how much silver, what you can do. But I mostly just wanted to show you some clips of what I did over the years, which grind spots I preferred, and yeah, some general tips to help you speed up your overall time grinding at individual spots if you're not using all the paints and everything. So yeah, stick around for that, and I will see you in a minute. All right, so for our first spot, we're going to be talking about Padix Island, and here's what we do. So as we all know, Padix is really out in the middle of nowhere, and probably getting there is going to be the hardest thing for most people unless you have, you know, a boat or tier 9, tier 10. So here's one thing that I wanted to basically help you guys with. If you have a boat, obviously that is one method. The best one is if you have a Krogdala, which is the tier 10 horse that does all 3 in 1. If you have a unicorn that runs on water, that's probably number 2. And in terms of the fastest way to get there, there's no right or wrong answer. This is just what I do. So if you're going to Padix, the number 1 thing you want to do is just get there and then leave a tag there. That's what I did for a couple of months. But some people don't know, there's actually a back entrance to Padix Island, and I'm going to show you how to get there. And if you have a tier 10, that's obviously the best route you can do just because it is probably faster than a boat. So where we're going to start, by Olvia right here, and then assume, like, you know, the Termian beach area. This is where we're going to be starting everything. So whether you have a tier 9 unicorn that could run on water, tier 10 that could do everything, or a boat, it's all good. But let me show you what I did. So what you're going to do is go island hopping on your horse. If you have a tier 10, obviously you can get the slight bonus, but ultimately your goal is to just get there. But let me show you just fast ways to do it, and then I'll give you some tips on what I did to speed up the process. So as we all know, the unicorn kind of sucks in terms of running on water. Like, it's a nice feature, but you can't really do much in terms of, like, you can't sprint infinitely. If you look at the blue health bar, it's kind of covered up on my screen. You can basically island hop or run on water, but then you have to stop every, like, other island. It is kind of annoying. I wish they would improve the stamina on it, or like the ability to run. You look at the blue bar, but either way, it's still a little bit faster. So you could go to normal entrance, which is what I think most people do. But the rotation that I use, I'll show you as we get there. So you're going to go up on the little side of here. And then there's a back entrance that's a little bit more of a shortcut if you don't want to remember the maze. So basically, a lot of people don't know this, but you can go through the back cave part of it, and I'll show you how. So yeah, if you have a tier 10, obviously this is a little bit better. If you don't, then I mean, you could still get here. It's kind of more just like a you would have to use the sanctuary if you have it and then fly across. But either way, there's a little cave entrance over here. What in the world? Hold on. So yeah, like right here, just on the map, covered by these trees, a little line over here. There's a little cave at the entrance, and let me show you what I did. So you don't have to get off your horse. You can just park it over here, and you go down here. This is the back entrance, and then you go down, make a right down this cave over here, and then you'll see two paths. You can go here, or you can go, or you split left and right. We go left, and then we follow this. You go left again, and then you go up here. So where you would park your horse is up to you. Personally, you could do over here. Sometimes it'll get attacked if you don't put it away, or you could put your horse over here at the top, and it's generally safe. I would say bring your horse over here, and that is 100% safe. Guarantee you that. Just like once you kill them, they won't come back. All right, so the main tip that I can give for most people is when you're grinding Padix, this spot is kind of annoying. But you see that blue little lantern over here? When it's blue, that means it could trigger an event that basically summons the hordes of enemies to come up to you. And that's how you basically get it. Like a lot of waves to spawn. So the enemies you're looking for at Padix Island is, oh my god, this is like inconvenient. Okay, so the things you were looking for are the drunk treasure hunters. These are the ones that dropped the treasure piece, and you know it feels kind of worse before or nowadays because everyone has an AP cap. So if you're like 300 and something AP grinding here, you're probably clearing just as fast as people who are like 280. But either way, what your goal is, go to a channel that has a blue like urn thingy that's going off, and every now and then you could trigger the event and it'll summon waves of enemies. And so what I would do is channel swap every time, because usually this spot is pretty empty. Most people are not here, and you just do a circle. Like this is your rotation. You do this, you fight the treasure hunter. Usually if you're fast clearing, you'll be on cooldown, if not more. So then there's one over here, and then you go down here, another treasure hunter over here, and then one over here, and then another one over here. That is the entire rotation. This is the exact spot that I did to get my Padix Island piece. It took me about 100 something hours. Eventually you do that. I will say, if you're grinding and you want to just get it slightly faster, going on Arsha is pretty empty. So like you see this event right here, it turns purple, and let me show you. Like I'm more geared than nothing will happen. So anyway, you see it turns purple, right? And then enemies will just come over to you. My pets are not on agile, by the way, so I'm just like demonstrating. But yeah, a lot of things will happen. You want the fastest chance of getting it. What you do is just keep fighting these, and then once it turns purple, you fight them, and then swap channels. Arsha is a very good place to get your extra bonus as well, because it's just 50% on top of it. And that's about it. Hope you get it. So I'll see you guys in the next spot. All right, welcome back. So here is the second spot. What we're going to be talking about is Sycraia underwater. Now this one is probably a little bit tricky because people don't really know, especially newer players, don't know how to go about getting here. And Sycraia is actually one of the worst spots, so anyone going for this, I really hope you get it as soon as possible. So we're going to start in Velia, because I'm going to try to show you how to do this without a boat. And obviously, if you have a tier 9 or tier 10 unicorn or the Krogdalo, this will make this a lot easier, or a boat in general. So what I would do, normally you would traveler's map to Hystria Island. I'm gonna like kind of cheat a little bit, but you could use the regular map. It works functionally the same thing. So you take yourself from Velia to Hystria Island, right? And then what you're going to want to do after that is you're going to want to travel to the coast, and I'll show you once you get there. So we're on Hystria Island. We're doing this without a boat, by the way, or assuming you don't have a tier 9, tier 10 horse. The best way to do it is, I would say, probably get there and then get yourself like a keep your tag there, and you just never have to do this again. Okay, so step 1, get yourself to like the coast or the beach around here. Okay, so we are over here. We made it to the other side. And you're probably wondering, okay, so how do you get to Sycraia underwater from here? So make sure the most important thing is to look at the map. And you could swim, it's actually not that far. And basically you wait, you keep going until you see your node change, like Sycraia underwater. So then once you're over here, what you're gonna do is escape, and it should take you to the bottom. Yep, so we're in Sycraia underwater right here, down in the node, right? And this is where I believe you pick up the daily quest. It's been a while. It's actually been multiple years. So then now that you're underwater, we like the compass piece drops at a higher rate. It's still pretty bad from upper Sycraia more than lower. So thing you want to do, I would recommend grinding this on Arsha because the 50% bonus is a lot nicer, and this spot makes very low silver. Basically, the ones you want to just go for down here are just basically kill everything, because I'm pretty sure the lichens and some of them would drop it. I know they raised a rate for something underwater, but of paints and stuff, so if you can get this with paints, it's a lot easier. But the rotation that I use, you see the center around here, like assume the big tower in the center is your central point, and what I used to do is find a set of staircases and do like a big loop down in underwater or upper Sycraia. I know it says underwater, but we're basically upper. And then you do loops around here and pray for the best, because this one is actually one of the worst things you can ever do. So, yep, that's what I would do. I taught you how to get here without having a tier 9 or tier 10. If you do have it, obviously it makes things faster. But aside from that, good luck on the spot, and I'll see you for spot number 3. Okay, for spot number 3, we are going to be talking about Olun's, because this one is potentially a contested spot because people are grinding for the Olun's piece. So we're currently where you would drop off at if you took the well to Ojaxia. And one thing I wanted to show you guys was basically the spots that I use, because some spots at Olun's, they're either too big or too small. And so I play a Dark Knight. This class does not have big AoEs, so we want to find a spot that works for you. And also, I want to show you 2 different ones. So if you're a class with big AoEs, this spot might be better for you. And if you're a class with, non-big AoEs, another one might be better for you. Ultimately, there's one spot that I found that, kind of the heart goes into the wall, and it's kind of annoying. So just follow the path that I took. And if you have a tier 9 horse, obviously this makes things faster. Tier 9, tier 10. If you don't, just follow the auto path. So yeah, what you're going to want to do is spot number 1. This one is for classes with bigger AoEs from what I've noticed. And you're going to go over here and find the Dekia Tower. So this one is a lot of flat land. I see this one being pretty popular because ultimately flat land good. And I would say because it is a bigger spot, if you're like in a group with 3 other peoples that are like casters or big AoE players, this one is probably the best one for you. And let me show you where we are on the map, like right here. So Olun's just go up into this spot right here, like just straight above Ojaxia. And the path to get there, if you don't have a tier 9, is just follow the stairway down. Now, if you are a class that has like medium to small AoEs, the spot that I personally like the most is over here. So if you follow this and go down here, it's a little smaller of a radius, and this one I personally like more because it's a little bit smaller, and you know, medium AoE classes are a little bit better over here. So the way you get over here normally is you just follow the path over here, jump a few rocks, or if you don't want to do that, just go up the mountain over here, and then, you know, you could just actually you could just walk here technically, but this one's a little bit more out of the way. But if you're trying to do clear speed, and depending on your class, this one is the better tower. So there's 3 different Oluns now. Like let me show you Olun. So there's base, Dekia 1, and then Dekia 2. For most people, if you were going for the merchant ring specifically, regular Oluns technically has, like, you clear it faster in the group, whereas Dekia 2 will make you the most silver, which is what I did, and grouping with friends. So I know Oluns is technically the most time-consuming spot for most people, just because that's the lowest drop rate, and it only drops from the golem arm, and then the golem, like the main golem itself. This is probably what I would do. The bigger one for bigger AoE classes, this spot for medium to small AoEs, and just hope for the best. All right, for the next few spots, we're going to be talking about the ones in Valencia. That one meaning Hystria, Akhman, Pilaku, and Sulfur. So this one's actually a little bit easier than the other ones I talked about, because I literally just grinded to Dekia spots. If you're going for the Sulfur ones, you just go down here, click the node, and then you'll find a group of, like, you'll either find a Dekia tower or you'll just find a normal rotation. I'd recommend doing the Dekia towers these days, especially for Pilaku. Here's what I would do. You go to Monster Zone info, you look for the one you want, so you click this Dekia lantern, and let's say you're going for, I don't know, Sulfur. You click this one and it'll auto path you exactly to it, and that's where you do it. But for all of you going for Hystria and Akhman, a few tips that I'd give you. So you know how you can invest in a node and get some extra drop rate for it? So if you're doing Akhman, the one you want is let me show you. So Akhman, Dekia, the node you want is Encado Coast, which surprisingly does not really make too much sense with Akhman Temple, simply because there is an Akhman Temple node, but like you see how it's down here. But then the node you want to invest into is this one over here, and then Hystria is, I believe, Hystria is down here. So let me show you multiple ways of getting here, especially for all of you new players out there. This is what the OGs used to do. We used to find portals out in the desert. However, that is a little bit outdated. I mean, you could still do it, but let me show you a guaranteed way to do it nowadays, because the OGs used to do it a different way, whereas new players now just do something different. Jump down this pit. There should be a little entrance crevice over here. Yeah, there it is. So this person over here, let's go down here, and it'll take you into Hystria. That is the 100% guaranteed route every time, but sometimes in the desert there's a portal, and I want to try to show you it so you can I can help identify it for you guys. Okay, so how you can identify the portals, you see this thing right here in the distance? I'll show you how you can identify Akhman or Hystria every time. This one is a Hystria portal. You see the little glow around the portal, like right here, like the little yellow glow line? That'll take you to Hystria. With that said, if there's no glow, that means it's Akhman, but also what you want to look for is the size of those little stone pillars. And it'll tell you which ones, like if they're all equal size, it's Akhman. If they're a different size, it's Hystria. But also you just look at the glow. So just to confirm it with you guys, this one is Hystria. We are in Hystria. That's cool, right? So yeah, trust me, I can assure you Hystria is one of the spots that I've grinded the most in my entire BDO career, like around like 500-600 hours. So I literally know this place like the back of my hand, unfortunately. So what I wanted to do is talk about what spots you should go to. I would recommend just doing the Dekia one, but you see these things right here? These are Eltons. This is the hardest piece. You're probably gonna struggle with this one the most because Elton pieces are the most annoying, and there's a river rotation. So yeah, this is the entrance where you go in normally, and then yeah, this is the river. So you just keep going down, hope for the best. And with that said, that's basically all the spots that I wanted to talk about. Everything else is pretty self-explanatory, very easy, no special things that I did, just grind. But anyway, thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you guys learned something, and good luck on all your treasure items. I would say the worst ones are probably Olun's, Padix, Sycraia. But with that said, good luck, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.